When a children's arcade restaurant combo serves alcohol to their stressed out, irritated parents, things are bound to go wrong. And they have, time and time again. Let's look into some good old Chuck E. Cheese related fights, attacks, and all-out brawls. I'm sure that all of you out there, at least in the countries where it exists, have heard of Chuck E. Cheese. The restaurant and, of course, the character have been around since 1977, ever since the co-founder of Atari, Nolan Bushnell, founded the place. It's a family chain mainly aimed at kids, featuring amusement park-style rides, arcades, and those animatronic singing characters that we all know so well. While the first store opened up in San Jose, California, the chain soon came to be spread all over the United States and even internationally to countries such as England, the Philippines, and Saudi Arabia. While the restaurant chain boasts about being family entertainment, the main focus is of course going to be the kids. The adults are only left with really one way to entertain themselves: booze. Yes, this kid-friendly, cutesy, happy fun time environment offers booze, because there's no way you can enjoy pizza without beer, as they say. Perhaps the point of Chuck E. Cheese was to secretly help kids grow up by exposing them to the harsh realities of the adult world. Gambling, overeating, making as much money as possible, and getting drunk and beating the shit out of each other. Many of them have gotten a front row seat to assaults, stabbings, and even massive brawls with fighters numbering in the dozens. The incidents that have taken place at Chuck E. Cheese are honestly too numerous to name. If you search the topic online, you'll find a good boatload of videos of different fights breaking out at the establishment. So I've decided to curate the search a little bit and just include some of the crazier incidents. Let's go ahead and tackle them in chronological order, starting with this case back in 2008. Toledo, Ohio, 2008. A 42-year-old woman named Barbie Clifton, a mother of 5 young kids, was celebrating one of her daughter's birthdays at Chuck E. Cheese, none the wiser that chaos was about to erupt. 2 of Barbie's daughters, age 14 and 10 years old, were sitting around at a drawing machine, taking their time and enjoying themselves. Barbie went into the bathroom for a bit while they played. Once she came out, though, she saw another mother yelling at the kids and her friends. Naturally, she ran over to see what was happening. It seemed that this other mom was infuriated that the kids were taking too long on the machine. She said, "I thought, oh my god, what's happening here?" Instead of the other mom going to the parent or going to the manager, she was calling my friend and daughters all of those names. Suddenly, Barbie was jumped by this other mom and her husband. She was knocked to the ground before the other mom started kicking her in the head. Then the husband joined in and started kicking her too. This soon erupted into a larger fight between more than 10 people, all punching, kicking, and screaming at each other. One woman even took a rope that divides the food lines and started swinging it around as a weapon, using the metal clip to injure others. When the police came out, they were shocked to see the intensity of the brawl. Sherry Keller Robb, the first officer on the scene, said, "I thought they were going to start attacking me." Eventually, the fight was broken up. Barbie said of the fight, "My daughter threw up and another one of the girls wet their pants." After the dust was settled, 4 women were arrested and charged with disorderly conduct. This would be far from the only time something like this would take place, leading us into the very next year. The Susquehanna Township in Pennsylvania, 2009. In one of the first instances of the Chuck E. Cheese Battle Royales being recorded and uploaded to YouTube, the video quickly went viral. The video showed a large group of adults scrambling all about and laying into each other, all during what appeared to be a child's birthday party. 13 people, mostly moms and their kids, had been charged with disorderly conduct. While this seems like it should have been a pretty big deal, the police didn't feel it was. In reality, the police had been called out to that location so many times within the past few years that they were completely jaded on the violence. Breaking up large-scale melees at Chuck E. Cheese had become routine to them. The Susquehanna Township Police had been called out to that specific restaurant on Union Deposit Road at least 12 times in the year leading up to this incident. Those cases ran the gambit of crimes with charges such as assault, theft, and disorderly conduct. In 2007 alone, the police had been out to the restaurant at least 18 times for similar incidents. The Susquehanna Township Police Chief Robert A. Martin said, "It's madness. Absolute madness." Police Chief Martin said that a good chunk of the violence had resulted from people who already didn't like each other just happening to be in the restaurant at the same time when things got a little abrasive. He said that a lot of the assaults also take place when two divorced parents try to get along and attend their child's birthday party together, failing miserably, opening up a can of whoop-ass on each other in front of the children. In one case, a husband beat his estranged ex-wife over the head when she showed up to the party uninvited. They see each other at Chuck E. Cheese, and before you know it, an argument turns into something physical, Martin said. June 2011, out in Memphis, Tennessee. This is where an 18-year-old pregnant mother of a 2-year-old daughter, Juanica Kay, decided to celebrate her kid's birthday party at none other than Charles Entertainment Cheese. She was taking some photos of her daughter when another mother got very angry with her for taking too long. "Dang, how long y'all gonna be?" said the woman. Juanica's stepfather, Terrence Dickerson, unhappy with the rude interjection, pulled back and punched that mom square in the face. This quickly started a large-scale battle, a riot, where both families charged in and attacked each other. Children and other patrons began to cry, panic, and run out of the establishment while screaming as the war raged on. The impatient mother hid under a table, and this is when Juanica and Terrence began to kick her and try to get her out. Then, even more people who weren't even related to the two families joined in the fight for some reason, escalating the carnage even further. Juanica herself later said, "Other people began jumping in that didn't have nothing to do with the fight." By the time it was all over, Juanica, her stepdad, her boyfriend, her mom, and her sister were all arrested and taken into custody to spend out the remainder of the birthday party together in a holding cell. Juanica and Terrence were charged with disorderly conduct and inciting a riot. Her boyfriend and mom were charged with disorderly conduct and possession of marijuana. Even in jail, they continued to threaten and harass the police. In 2013, out in Chicago, another similar fight broke out between a group of people that were waiting in line in order to cash out their tickets and win themselves some prizes. At the restaurant in the 1800 block of West Fullerton Avenue in the Lathrop Homes neighborhood, all things seemed normal. That is, until a few people in that line came to a disagreement. This disagreement was not mild, as the two adults began to fight. Then more people joined in. And more, and more. The police were called out to the location. When they came out, they found a very large group of people fighting inside, all of which was captured on camera and uploaded to the internet later. Luckily, only 3 people were injured, and those injuries weren't bad enough to get them taken to the hospital. In the end, it seems that 2 people who originally started the fight were arrested. Shambrea Barfield, age 21, was charged with 1 count of misdemeanor battery. Then, Travell Washington, also 21, was charged with 2 counts of misdemeanor battery. In a case that took place in Florida, in Miami in 2016, we have some more cheesy chaos. At the Chuck E. Cheese in Miami's Kendall Village Center on one Saturday evening, an argument broke out between 2 customers. This argument, as you may assume, quickly grew out of hand. This video was also recorded and uploaded online, getting over 60,000 shares. The footage is so frantic that it's very hard to make out who is even beating who. This particular clip spread much more far and wide than the others, even hitting publications in England. All were in awe of the parents of these children beating each other in front of flickering arcade machines and colorful animal animatronics. The store manager quickly whipped out his phone and dialed 911. It was about 10 minutes until the police showed up to break up the fight. When they got there, they saw a horde of panicked children running from the restaurant. Plenty of customers were there to tell the media exactly how they felt about the whole ordeal.
Look at that, they're throwing fists and legs and all that, just inappropriate.
This is really sad, why they would allow this to happen, and especially inside of a Chuck E. Cheese, like a children's place.
It seems that, in this specific case, no arrests were even made. The whole thing was kinda just let go. Now let's take a look at the lovely state of New Jersey. In March of 2018, at the Chuck E. Cheese located in Deptford Township, New Jersey, we wind up with what may have been the most violent attack on this list. 2 parents in the restaurant, mothers aged 47 and 27, both from Philadelphia actually, got into an argument over some cigarettes. One of the moms whipped out a pocket knife and stabbed the other in her side. The restaurant manager came over to de-escalate the situation, only to end up getting slashed across the hand himself. The stabbed mother wasn't purely a victim either, as she also lashed out and attacked both the other mom and the manager. The fight quickly erupted into a full-scale riot when more people got involved. At its peak, about 20 people were fighting throughout the restaurant, mainly the families of the two women. The Deptford police were quickly called out to the restaurant, where they found people fighting both outside the restaurant in the parking lot and inside as well. Police from other districts soon arrived to help quash the violence. The woman who was stabbed refused any medical treatment, so both of the two women who started the fight were arrested and taken into police custody. Police never did release the identity of the two women. Other patrons of the restaurant at the time of the attack told news media that tensions were already high after some squabbles over some children taking too long on rides. It was questioned as to whether or not the restaurant was over capacity, but the police believed that was not a factor. Just 1 month later in Amherst, New York, a similar episode took place. This was when an argument at a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant on Harlem Road erupted into a full-scale battle. Like in other cases, a video was posted to social media and shared all over, showing several grown women punching each other inside the restaurant. The restaurant had just been given a new game room license, and everyone was ecstatic until this incident happened. Needless to say, it kinda dampened the mood. The police came out and broke up the fight. In the end, it seems there were no serious injuries and no arrests were made. The restaurant did what it could to assist the police in the investigation. After the video went viral, this particular Chuck E. Cheese decided to up their security, install more CCTV cameras, and even have more staff training. Just 2 months later, though, this training proved to be a failure as 2 female employees got into a physical fight within the restaurant. The fight was broken up, but a few hours later, one of the women involved in the fight returned with a few others to help her assault the other woman. Then they fled the scene. The badly beaten teenage staff member was taken to the hospital. A restaurant spokesperson released a statement saying, "We are aware of a physical altercation that took place on June 9th at our Amherst, New York location between 2 employees, one being a minor. No guests were involved and the instigating employee was terminated immediately. The safety of our guests and employees is our #1 priority, and we will continue to work closely with the community to ensure a safe environment for families." The city decided to revoke the game room license for the restaurant after the 2 humiliating incidents damaged the town's reputation. Chuck E. Cheese would still be able to operate their restaurant and serve alcohol, but their arcade would be shut down. The city was pretty done with the place. The town board said, "We have a lot of important things happening here. We're creating a central park, we're undertaking a comprehensive plan, we're growing our university area, we're taking on the Boulevard Mall as an economic challenge. You know, Chuck E. Cheese should be low on our radar." Soon after, the state liquor authority said that it was investigating the restaurant's alcohol license as well. And 2 years later, the restaurant was permanently closed. Back to Ohio. In 2021 in Cleveland, yet another large-scale war broke out at the Chuck E. Cheese and the Golden Gate Plaza in Mayfield Heights. At around 8 p.m., 2 small children began to fight. Rather than break up the fight, the mothers decided to participate. They argued, verbally at first, until one mother spit in the other's face. Then the 2 women started to beat each other silly. This got more and more people involved. Guests were punching each other, flipping tables, and even drawing their weapons. The store manager called the police, saying, "I need the cops here now. We have a big fight going on. Guests just flipped tables in my showroom. I need someone now." Another person, a customer it seems, called 911 as well, telling them that about 20 people in the restaurant were fighting and one of them had just pulled a gun. One mother pulled out pepper spray and shot it at another, completely missing and hitting a child in the face. Another person was pushed into an arcade cabinet and injured. Police officers from 5 different agencies showed up to calm the riot. Body cam footage was released showing that, even with police on scene, people were still arguing, screaming, and even attempting to fight each other once again. This was all while their kids watched and screamed. The child who was pepper sprayed was soon treated by paramedics. In total, 5 different women were arrested. Simone Ware, Dominique Ware, Brittany Hall, and Desiree Thomas were taken in and charged with disorderly conduct. One of the women, Shakira Blair, age 27, was hit a little harder as she was the one who pulled out the loaded gun in the restaurant. She was handcuffed, to which she began to protest. An officer told her, simply, "Well, maybe you shouldn't start a fight at Chuck E. Cheese." Shakira was charged with not only disorderly conduct, but also with carrying a concealed weapon into a prohibited place. She did have a concealed carry license, but the restaurant itself prohibited weapons inside of the building. In the end, these cases are still continuing until this very day. Just recently, in 2023, the police were called out to a Chuck E. Cheese in northwest Houston when another big fight broke out. According to the police, at least 30 people were all fighting in a giant mosh pit inside the restaurant. In the end, though, only one man was arrested. Chuck E. Cheese has been hit pretty hard over the last few years, not only from the newfound reputation of drunken violence, but also due to the 2020 pandemic, during which they went into an estimated $1.5 billion in debt. They were facing the reality that they may have to close all of their stores. While they luckily managed to escape completely losing the franchise, they were forced to close down 34 different stores immediately and many more over the next few years. Today, Chuck E. Cheese has become somewhat of a meme online. First, there was the rumor that the restaurant would combine uneaten pizza slices into new pizzas to give to the customers. Then there was the time when they were caught going by the name of a different restaurant on apps like DoorDash in order to trick customers into unknowingly buying their cheap pizza, thinking they were trying some new Italian restaurant. Then we've even got the footage of the closing locations taking their animatronics outside and destroying them with sledgehammers. There was even a time when the restaurant chain started hitting YouTubers with copyright strikes for talking about Chuck E. Cheese related creepypastas. So if I ever have to start a GoFundMe for legal fees, you'll know that it's probably because of this video. Once again, thank you for watching my video. If you found it interesting, please give it a like as it really helps me on the algorithm, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Recently, I've started a podcast with a few of my friends called the NBR Podcast. If you like this channel, you'll probably like it too as well, so I recommend it. If you want, go ahead and follow me on social media, because if anything were to ever happen to this channel, that would probably be the only way you'd ever hear about it. I always appreciate when people follow me on Patreon as well. There you can get videos early, ad-free, and uncensored. And hey, channel memberships are up too, where you can get all the same benefits. This has been your host, Kyle. Thank you, and good night.